Final hour overdrive continues, brought to you by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Leafs Tampa tonight, right here on TSN Radio. Joe Bowen, Jimmy Ralph with the call. They will join us from the rink in just a few moments. Adam Hadwin preparing for the Masters next week. He's not playing the Valero this weekend, but he will be at Augusta National. We'll catch up with him later this hour. Our golf bets are coming up, brought to you by our friends at TaylorMade, too. We look forward to that. Best bets still to come. We got a big hour here. And the Jays are in action. The Leafs are in action. Joseph Woll getting a start tonight. And Tampa is certainly one of the 4 or 5 teams that would be considered, the biggest Leaf rival right now. Mm-hmm. Curious where you guys think they rank in terms of that list 1 through 5. Closer to the top or a little bit further down the list?
A little further down for me right now.
Yeah.
I don't know why I could classify that, but I always felt like Boston's kind of been 1 and Florida number 2, just based on the playoffs last year. So I would slide Tampa into kind of a 3, 4, 5 if you're sliding in Montreal and Ottawa, which are just natural rivals because of the proximity. I don't know how you guys feel.
I think they're at the top, fellas. Rivalries are about playoff, like facing each other in the playoffs. It's been 2 times in the last 3 years, Tampa Bay Lightning. I think that skyrockets them up to 1.
Yeah, and they beat Tampa last year. They obviously lost to them the year before. Nick Paul in Game 7, we all recall that. So, yeah, I think from that standpoint it should be. I mean, I'm trying to think of
Bunting
the animosity.
On Cernak, the line brawl,
like
Point hitting Riley or Riley hitting Point. There's there's incidences where you're like, that's what a rivalry's about.
Yeah, I think you're right. Do you think Jeannot and Reeves have a dance tonight?
Why not? That Jeannot, that guy.
They've fought before. They've fought, I believe, a couple times.
Is tough, man.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know. I mean, depends on, I guess, if it gets greasy or they want to be greasy. I don't know if you want to be doing that every night, but you're getting playoff ready. But I think if it presents itself, I would disagree. But I would love to see Cernak, his first time back against Bunting. Now it's going to be in Pittsburgh, right? Like you have to track that.
I don't know if
they've played
yet.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a greasy hit. I would assume they would have played already at some point this year when he was.
Cernak's been injured this year though, and Sergachev, that's why you talk about Kucherov. They missed the goalie. They missed a couple defensemen. Like, they've been missing. Janot's missed a bunch. Like,
he missed a lot of time.
They've missed a bunch of guys this year. Duclair's been a nice find for them at the deadline. Brayden Point, is that the quietest? What has he got, 42?
Yeah.
Quietest 42
Scary,
again.
Man, that guy.
Yeah.
Just quiet 42.
He'll get 50.
I didn't
he
realize,
very well
guys.
Could.
I'll vote this, nominate this. The quietest 40 for me is Jonathan Marchessault. I
saw that last night. I had no idea he was touching up on 40.
I agree. I saw it about 3 days ago, and I was like, Marchessault at 40, but he's been very consistent for them.
New career high.
Yeah,
it's your Conn Smythe winner, man. That's
exactly.
Yeah. That's a day oneer too. Marchessault's a day one guy.
Fascinating.
Is he coming up this year?
Yeah, they might have to dispatch
They'll
him.
move off him. Of course they will. They won't think twice. Yeah. See you later. Thanks for everything.
I know what he's not getting. Do you know what number he's not getting?
10 million, 11 million.
As a 40-goal scoring right winger.
Yeah. That's true. If he wants to stay, he'll sign for like 6.5.
That's it.
Yeah, it'll be. Thank you.
And you know what? He probably will. He probably will sign for 6.5.
He might be willing to, and they'd still say no. The way that they operate in Vegas. I'll take a huge discount. No, we're good.
Can you imagine that? Yeah, you know what? I will take 6.5 and stay in Nevada. Actually get lost.
Yeah, not going to work for us.
My understanding, now, we always think, like, Hurdle's at 6.7 for them, I believe. Is he not?
The Sharks ate some of the money.
Yeah, so that's Marchessault's money right there because Hurdle's got term left.
Yeah.
I talked to somebody that was in San Jose the other day, and they said there was 4,000 people in that building.
Oh, it's ugly, man. Between them and the Athletics.
That place was packed every game. The Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Most intimidating building in the league. $4,000 in there?
Between them and the A's, they're about a 45-minute drive. They could be playing on the same night, and there would be 8,000 combined fans.
Dude,
That's
apparently
tough.
the A's out in the field are just making errors at an alarming rate. It's like beer league slow pitch.
Yeah,
And
it's
the
a mess.
Rockies aren't much better. Gong show.
It's a gong show. And Oakland's just they're just waiting to get to Vegas.
I
No
know,
one's
but dude,
going.
you can't, like, that's ridiculous.
It's awful.
It is terrible.
Awful. Yeah, and even Golden State, like the Warriors aren't much better. You know, the Giants, we'll see what they've got this year. But yeah, between the Sharks and the Athletics, it's not great. All right, Leafs Tampa tonight down at Scotiabank. You can hear the game right here on TSN Radio, and the gentleman that will have the call would be Joe Bowen and Jimmy Ralph, and they join us now. Ralphie, Bonesy, how you guys doing?
Terrific. Thank you very much for having us on the big show.
Yes, we're happy. We're ecstatic you accepted the invitation.
You know,
We appreciate
it's not every
that.
day you get to go on with the O-Dog.
Yeah, well, he's a new man. I mean, he's getting
Yes.
tats removed. He's lost
I
40
know.
pounds.
Good.
Everything's
Hey,
coming together.
you and me both, big boy. You and
Oh,
me
wow.
both. Yeah.
Oh, are you on the program, Joe?
No, he's getting tats removed.
Green Bay Packer tat, or what is
No.
it?
I still got the shamrock on my calf. We're all good.
Okay.
We're all good. But no, I'm losing weight too. Good for you, O-Dog. That's good. I'm very pleased for you.
Thank
There
you,
you go.
buddy. Thank you.
Attaboy, I like it. Okay, a little kumbaya out of the gate. Everyone's feeling good. We're moving in the right direction. We started the hour discussing where Tampa ranks in terms of the rivalries with the Leafs. Like, they're somewhere in the top 5. We all kind of have a different viewpoint. Bonesy, you can start, then Ralphie, you chime in. Like, where does Tampa rank for you, Bonesy, in terms of the rivalry with the Leafs right now?
I mean, Montreal's always going to be there. The Battle of Ontario is probably second. Buffalo would be third. I
Boston,
think just because
Florida.
of proximity. Yeah, Boston. I'm not so much. I would say Tampa is ahead of Florida, so I'd put them in there after Boston, I would think. So about 5, I would think, would be an accurate level. I mean, the teams out west, the Canadian teams, are so great, and O-Dog can certainly attest to this. When you go out there, it's a lot like going to Buffalo when the Leaf fans go over and just take over the building, because now that they're in the Eastern Conference, as opposed to when I first started, when they were in the West and we were out there 2 or 3 times. Now it's just once. And so displanted Leaf fans and Torontonians out there fill the buildings, and it's always a great atmosphere.
Ralphie, I want to ask you, the crowd on Monday night, for a Monday night crowd, everybody kind of cringes and says, oh, are you going to hear a pin drop tonight? It looked like for a Monday there was some juice. And obviously some things on the ice happened with Matthews and some saves. Like, was that a different Monday night vibe, and should we expect more of the same tonight, or what?
Yeah, you know what I think, O-Dog, and it goes back to Brian's question. I think it's because one playoff series became a rivalry. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, I'm a little different. I subscribe where it's sort of cyclical, right? I remember Ken Dryden wrote the book The Game in the 70s, and he talked about playing the Leafs in the 70s, and they went into Maple Leaf Gardens, and they won so easily, and he said the rivalry's dead, the Leafs have killed it. And what we're seeing now, Ottawa's killed it lately. The Leafs killed it for 12 years, rivalries with anybody. Buffalo hasn't been there. Detroit, you can't go back to the old Norris Division days because they haven't been in. So I think Florida and Tampa and the Boston Bruins right now, to me, would be the rivals, simply because they're part of that ladder you've got to climb to get to where you want to get to. But Monday night, absolutely, O-Dog. It was, I think Matthews scoring was a big part of it. But I still think it's, there's that underlying fear that we're not as tough as Florida. There's no way you can beat Florida. Everybody's saying the Leafs are done this year. They're either going to get Boston and Florida, and they can't beat either team. So I think from a fan perspective, that generated sort of the rivalry of how do we match up head to head against these guys that we might see in a couple of weeks.
Where are you guys at as far as rivalry in the crease? Joseph Woll gets the start. Samsonov's game is rounded out in the last month. Where do you think this lands heading down this last 8 games and into the playoffs?
Oh, well, Noodles, I think it's a great test, and it's a great competition. I think at this particular point, you would have to say Samsonov probably would get the game 1 nod. But I don't think that that's carved in stone. I think that's in pencil in the coach's office, and I think it's a real test for both of these guys to see who's going to get the call. And if you don't have a Vasilevsky, so you don't have a real bona fide number one, you've got 1 and 1A, and then you're hoping that whoever happens to get the net gets hot and plays well. So I think it's a great competition. You've got, just a tremendous story of the guy who was literally on the slag heap, being out the door, waived, not even sent to the minors. Get your head straight, see if we can get you back in here. And then he literally turns his season around. And you've got a young guy in Joseph Woll who we're all very high on just because of his technical, the way he plays the position, who is in his rookie season and is trying to, gain some confidence and get into it. So I think it's a great story, but it is also going to be the largest question mark this team has starting in game one.
And I would say you need them both. Sergei Bobrovsky was great in the playoffs for Florida last year. Didn't start the first 3 games. Braden Holtby won a cup with Washington. Didn't start the first 3 games. He was the backup to Grubauer. Marc-Andre Fleury and Matt Murray basically had to split games for Pittsburgh to win a Stanley Cup. So I don't know if I would put that much emphasis on who starts. The important guy is going to be the one that finishes, and we'll see how far into the spring that is.
Ralphie, if something happened down at the rink and someone came into your booth and said, one of you two have to play net, who do you think would go down? And I know you had a professional career, Ralphie, but Bonesy is also a goaltender. Which
and
one
I'm
of
still
the two?
Playing. I'm still
exactly.
Playing. So
that's why I
played.
could...
I played Tuesday, and I was adequate. And so,
So the question is, Bones, which of the two of you would be going down to put the gear on?
Well, now will this just be like a charity write-off for MLSC, or are we getting paid for this?
And the next question is there 5 minutes left in the third period, or is this 2 minutes into the first period? Because if it's the first period, neither of us are volunteering.
Yeah. Right.
And I will say this, in Joe's defense, through his 50 years playing goal, he has not gotten worse.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's good. Maybe that's your answer right there. Okay.
So there's been no deterioration in his game whatsoever.
Not one little bit.
I like it.
The bar is very low.
I love
very
it.
low.
Joe Bowen, Jim Ralph with the call tonight. Leafs Lightning. Matthews at 62, and it's obviously been a massive story really all year. He had a hat trick opening night, and he's never slowed down. He's 8 away from 70. I mean, Bonesy, you can begin here in terms of the calls. I mean, your call when he hit 60 in Buffalo was phenomenal. Is every call massive with him? Like, how do you establish his goals compared to everyone else in understanding history and what he's achieving right now?
You know what? I've called every goal he's had, and that is very special to me. And after that, the first thing I did was I got the guys back at the station to send me the audio of it, and I sent it off to his dad. And it's the very first game. His parents were in the hotel in Ottawa. We had to stay over. We weren't flying with the team because of Lou Lamoriello's edict at that point. And we got to meet his parents, and we downloaded the goals, and we gave them to them that night. So this has been a really special bond for me, not only with Auston, but with his family. And you know what? And Jimmy and I commented about this. You see him score goals, there's very little celebration. I mean, he kind of, waves and whatnot and high fives and everything that you would normally do. But when you get to that milestone and you saw how much it meant to him, I think that was very, very special. And I bet you that if he does hit 70, and I hope it's at home, that it will be a very special time for him. And we sit here and we watch him and we marvel at it. And Jimmy and I have often said many times that, we're not worthy of this. I mean, when you wonder how many people actually realize how good this guy is.
Yeah, and I know since Lou left, I send him every one of Auston Matthews calls now that Joe has. So we're not obviously back on the Chargers, but Lou has quite an audio collection in his email.
Yes, as he should. Well, Ralphie, I mean, when you're watching them, there's obviously a bunch of other players on the ice, but naturally, does your eye just find 34? Like, where are you at when, Bonesy's in the midst of a call and there's transition through the middle of the ice, gets into the opposition zone? Are you just naturally, instinctively saying, where is this guy? Because there's a chance it's going to end up on his stick.
Hazy, the most fun watching him is going in on the forecheck and how if there's sort of a race for the puck, he's letting the other guy touch it first. And it's sort of like a snake move where it's like, you put your stick down first and I'll lift it, take it from you. Yeah. And that's the most fun part to watch in the building is saying, watch what he's doing. He's not going full speed for the battle. It's you touch it and I'll lift it. So the goal scoring is great. But to me, the way he retrieves the puck and the takeaways are absolutely unbelievable. The one thing I will say about this year, it seemed when he first came into the league, every goal he scored was wrist shot bar down. And then you started to see now there's one-timers. Now there's guys, now he's scoring 5-hole. Now he's the scary thing is how his career has evolved. So is how he's been able to score goals. And it's not saying that being one-dimensional early in his career hurt him, but I think that's really what has been so amazing is to see on the highlight reel how many different ways he scored.
Reminds you a lot of how O-Dog transitioned his career into that sort of stuff.
100% accurate. I think it's a perfect analogy, right? As he kept getting better and better and better over time.
The only difference is Auston Matthews will say hi to me.
Yes. O-Dog will big time you.
I thought you were going to say to them about my broadcasting, just like Ralphie said about Bonesy's goaltending, I haven't got worse.
Hey, when you set the bar as low as you have, there's nowhere to go.
Exactly.
Well, I know whenever you've thanked me for what you've been able to go on to career-wise, O-Dog, it's always been a lot to me, your praise.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. All right, Jimmy Ralph and Joe Bowen. Leafs Lightning tonight. Team toughness is a term that comes up all the time. I mean, we've always talked about it, and you guys, you're there watching it. Have you noticed anything tangible, Ralphie, that would suggest they're tougher today than they were game one?
Oh, yeah. Scrums are a lot more fun. And I mean, I think the key to them having any kind of success is when the narrative stops being, how will the Leafs respond? How are the Leafs going to respond? It's, O-Dog, you can go back. You were part of that era with Shane Corson and Darcy Tucker and Ty Domi. Nobody asked how Ty or Darcy or Corson were going to respond. It was more how our team's going to respond to them. So I think the fun part will be getting Edmondson back and then seeing what the combinations are going to be because – everybody's going to have their warts, but Edmondson, Benoit, Jake McCabe can do it at times. Lyubushkin, we've seen, can be very physical. The Leafs may not be better. We're going to find out in the next, 3 or 4 weeks. But I do think they're tougher, and I think they're a different look. And fingers crossed that everything else falls into place.
I think they're built more like a playoff team than any other group that has been associated with the core 5. I think the people around them, and you add Bertuzzi and Domi up front, and Dewar and other people, and Reeves, of course. This team is built, I think, more for the playoffs than any of the other groups that we've had coming in the last 8 or 9 years.
Yep, I agree with that, and we're almost there. We're just over 2 weeks away. Leafs Lightning tonight on TSN Radio. It's going to be a fun one. He is Joe Bowen. He is Jim Ralph with the call. We look forward to it. Enjoy it tonight, boys. We appreciate you doing this.
All right,
no
thanks,
problem, guys.
There it is. Jimmy Ralph, Joe Bowen. Pre-game starting soon, and, of course, the puck drop just after 7 o'clock right here on TSN Radio. Our best bets brought to you by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Braden Point, anytime goal scorer tonight. Like we mentioned, he's 42. He scores against the Leafs, it seems like, every single night.
He scores every night.
Yeah, he basically does. So Point, anytime goal scorer. Point, 3+ shots tonight. Matthews, 5+ shots. There's your parlay tonight. And I think Matthews will be cooking I could see physicality. I could see a fight tonight. Janot Reeves, we'll see. They have fought before back when Janot was in Nashville.
Can you lay bets if guys will fight?
No, I don't believe. Those odds are not available, but that would be an interesting prop. You'd probably have to get a lot of plus money on calling a fight because it doesn't
like that
happen every
Rangers
game.
Leafs game. It was like there would have been a bunch of money.
Yeah,
like people would have laid it down.
I haven't seen if Rempe's playing tonight. Have we looked that up, Doogie, to see if he's in the lineup? Because Rangers are at home against the Devils tonight. We talked about it yesterday. Like the Devils want a piece of Rempe. McDermott in particular, like he snapped on him after the game. Last time he played, he got suspended. Remember, McDermott's like, I lost respect for this guy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, he was pissed. He was hot because he said, you got to stand up for that hit. They talked earlier in the game, and Rempe kind of waved him off, and McDermott was pissed.
Yeah, if Rempe's playing, they're going tonight. Yeah. I'd be. The only reason they won't is Rempe will turn them down. Ultimately, that's.
I don't think you can do that now, man.
Yeah.
No, I think you either fight him or you don't play him. That's the thing. And again, I'm not advocating, but I just think that there will be a decision saying if he's playing tonight, the chances are there's going to be a fight. And Lavi's got to make that decision.
Yeah. All right, today's best bet's powered by FanDuel. FanDuel's goal in the first 10 minutes is the most electric bet in hockey and can be included in a same-game parlay on any NHL game. Please play responsibly. Must be 19 plus. Physically located in Ontario. Adam Hadwin's on his way to Augusta National. Back at the Masters for the first time in a few years. How does he prepare for that? What does he make of the course? What does he make of his game right now? There's a lot to get into with Adam. We'll do that next. All right, our PGA picks are coming up later this hour. The Valero Texas Open, a last chance for someone to punch a ticket to the Masters. It's a really good field. So we'll get to those picks later in the hour. Adam Hadwin is already on his way to Augusta National. He's not playing this week. He's preparing for the Masters. And this will be his fourth tour of Augusta National. Hasn't been there since 2020. But it's going to be a great week. Corey Connors is going to be there. Nick Taylor is going to be there. Obviously, Adam Hadwin will be there. Mike Weir will be there. There's your four-pack, right? Like the practice rounds, it's always the four Canadians that kind of hang out and go out and make their way around the course, and you lean on Mike Weir to tell you as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, it's an interesting. Mike Weir and Zach Johnson wedged their way to a green jacket, and it's going to be interesting to see if anybody can do that again.
No, you can't. You have to crush the golf ball now.
Well, Tiger Woods and those boys were crushing it when Mike Weir won, and same with Zach Johnson.
Yeah.
So can anybody wedge their way to a green jacket? I just don't know. It's kind of, you go through the past winners, it's just Bubba Watson, Adam Scott, Tiger Woods, Rahm. You got to move that rock out there, and it just. I don't know if a guy can wedge their way to a green jacket anymore.
Yeah, I mean, again, since 2003, they've added so much yardage to the course too, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just a way longer course. But anyway, Hadwin's going. He's not playing this week. He's down in Phoenix. He's doing his thing. He's preparing, and we had the chance to catch up with him earlier. And we began by asking Adam Hadwin, what's going on down in Phoenix tonight?
Not a whole lot. Some beautiful sunshine. Like you said, getting ready for next week in the green grass of Augusta National. And my Canucks are in town tonight to face Coyotes, so we got a hockey game before heading out.
Yeah, before we get to some hardcore golf talk, what are you thinking or what are you making of your Canucks these days and how they're heading down the stretch? And what do you make of them deep into the playoffs potentially?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, following this team for as long as I can remember now, I can't help but think a letdown is coming at some point.
Come on, man.
I know. I hate to say.
You know who you're talking to, though, before you go on with this? You're talking to two Toronto guys. Come on.
I get it. At least you guys have experienced the playoffs in the last few years. But, obviously they've had a tremendous season. They've been able to put things together. I think ever since Tocchet came in, he's had them playing a brand of hockey that's been a little bit different than we've seen over the years. A little bit, they use the skill, but they've added some of that grittiness to their play, and winning puck battles and getting in the corners and doing the little things right, which I think they've gotten away from a little bit in this past week or so. But man, it's been fun to watch. You've had some players that you maybe not expected to play so well. I've been a big fan of Joshua this season, the way that he's played and that third line in general, him and Garland and Bluger. And it's been great. It'd be great to see him live. It's been probably my only game that I'll get to see. Maybe if we can line up a playoff game and it works out. But, a lot of fun. So it'd be great to see the guys in person tonight.
Yeah, so how do you handle it? Like, you're living down there, Phoenix guy, yet obviously a BC guy, a Canuck fan. Do you roll in a Canucks jersey tonight, or do you have to play it cool?
We'll see. That'll be a game time decision. I might bring it in the car just in case to see how I feel, but I'm not a huge jersey guy at the hockey game anyway. Mm-hmm. I'm more of I'd be too worried about spilling a beer or getting some ketchup on it or something like that from a hot dog, but maybe a Canucks hat. Keep it simple.
Okay. That works with Adam Hadwin. So after tonight, obviously you're prepping for the Masters, and this will be your fourth Masters. And we always hear about guys getting in scouting trips. Like over the weekend, it was a big news story that Tiger flew in and got a scouting trip in. Do you have the ability to do that, considering you're on tour, you're playing every other week, if not every week? Like, how often do you get a chance to maybe sneak into Augusta and check it out?
So I've actually never done it. Believe it or not. I've never taken advantage of that. Just being out west, with the way the schedule's been, having a family. Again, I haven't been in the last 4 years either, so that doesn't help me. Just the opportunity is just never really very good. And so I will have to take advantage of that one of these days. Take some family down and maybe play with my brother or my dad, but it hasn't worked out. I have heard as well that, the shape of the golf course, the condition of the golf course, is rare. I mean, it's probably really good, but rarely what we see for tournament time, unless you can time it around one of their member events. It's amazing what they can do to the condition of the golf course, even just a few days leading up to that first round on Thursday. So, but yeah, it would be nice to get family to experience what I experienced.
Heading into the Masters, I mean, you guys are always working on your game, and Augusta National presents so many challenges. Driving the golf ball is so important. The undulation, uphill, downhill lies. Putting is imperative to be on it. Like, how's the prep? Like, is there one thing where you say, I got to have this dialed in for Augusta, or is it basically just you better have the whole game in order?
I mean, you certainly have to have the whole game. I mean, any major championship, you better be peaking and hitting every one of your lines. But you kind of nailed nailed it there. Driving the golf ball, obviously very important. Length. Being able to reach a couple par fives and take advantage of those. I think putting is a very big key. They can be a little bit more aggressive than an average PGA Tour event is as far as putting pins on slopes. So you get a lot of 4, 5, 6 footers with cup, 2 cup, 3 cups worth of break, and we're just not used to that very often. So getting on the greens, getting a feel for seeing how it's breaking, I think is very important. And then, other than that, just being mentally prepared for the challenge that comes. You're going to hit a lot of good shots that might catch one slope and, head 40, 50 feet away from the pin, and now you've got a challenging 2-putt. So, being in a good frame of mind, and then obviously hope everything clicks at the same time. With Adam Hadwin, who's back in the Masters, he'll be in Augusta next week. And, you hear players that have been there forever, that have played 20 years, 25 years, and they speak of their comfort zone at Augusta National. And I'm curious if you feel like that's even possible, like how comfortable you feel when you actually get on the grounds, considering,
how sacred the place is in the world of golf, how incredible the tournament is, the crowds, the hospitality. Yet it's old school. Like there's no technology, there's no phones. It's a completely different beast than any other tournament around the world. I'm curious how you handle your own emotions and how you maybe force yourself to feel comfortable, or do you naturally feel comfortable when you're there?
I have grown more comfortable over the years, but I mean, it's been now 3 years since I've been there, so we'll see what happens once I step on the grounds. But I had been getting more comfortable the 17, 18, and 2020. It can almost be because of the history and the way they do everything there, the customs, the traditions. It can almost be a little intimidating. And so something you got to get used to. I think that only comes with time, and it is nice. It's kind of the one spot where we go every single year, and so you can get a little bit more familiar with. All right, I know where to go. I know where all the buildings are. That kind of stuff doesn't change. They always tweak the golf course slightly that you've got to relearn and get used to. But at the end of the day, it's golf. And I think I did a much better job of that my last couple years there, of not trying to be too perfect and just kind of playing golf and having some fun and just enjoying being there. So I'm really looking forward to getting back. Like I said, it's been 3 or 4 years now, and it's just such a special place to be able to kind of start major championship season.
You mentioned the par fives, and they're so key to having success there. Of all of them, what is the most fascinating second shot? Is it the downhiller on 2, the uphiller on 8, the around the corner on 13, or the downhill to a sliver of a green on 15? Like, which one of those shots gets your attention the most?
It definitely would probably be either 13 or 15, simply because a miss there is much more penalizing than 2 or 8. You've got no creeks to deal with there on the front 9, and 2 especially. Get it up near the green. As long as you miss in the right spot, you're going to have a fairly decent chance to get up and down. 13 was always difficult for me with the ball above. I'll be interested to see how it plays now. With the added length, I haven't seen that hole yet. So I always found it is a very difficult shot for me personally that I struggled with. I usually leave that shot out to the right, and of course the creek is sitting there. So, in the 3 years that I played, I probably laid up on that hole just as much as I went for it. Long iron with that, I just didn't feel like it was worth the risk. But 15, standing on top of that hill, looking down, is always
crazy.
It's always a fun shot. And you got to be so precise. The whole golf course really, but there's a few pins on that hole that if you're just a few yards too far and you kind of skip down that bank towards 16, it's almost an impossible chip coming back to any pin. You can chip it in the water. It's just that type of golf course where if you hit the right shots at the right targets, you can make birdies. And if you don't, then you're kind of scrambling all day, and it's going to be difficult. But I think that's what makes the event so great, and I think it separates. You can separate yourself on a golf course like that.
With Adam Hadwin, during the practice rounds, do you allow yourself to drop a ball and try to make one of those historically famous shots? Like, in other words, on 16, do you ever drop the ball behind the green and say, I'm going to try to chip it in like Tiger did? Mickelson out of the pine straws. Do you allow yourself to do that, or is it just all business once you're there?
No, you definitely have a little bit of fun, right? The tradition of skipping it across the water on 16 and giving that a go. And you don't necessarily hit all the shots sometimes, but you walk up and you sort of relive some of those shots. And inevitably, you're always thinking to yourself, how did this happen, or how did they pull this off in that moment, that kind of thing. And it's amazing what happens when you get into that moment and you're in that frame of mind and you're not thinking about anything else. You're not thinking about failure or anything like that. But again, you go back to this being an event that's held at the same place every year. The collection of shots that we've seen throughout the years, and so it is fun to kind of go through that Rolodex that we have in our brains, and so and so did this from here that year, and it's just a fun place to be.
Adam, Scottie's dialed in right now with his play. I'm sure he's not going through the range like Tiger's success, but I know what we're talking about with watching him right now. He's a heavy favorite at Augusta. What are other guys on tour talking about what he's doing, just how dialed in that guy is?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly impressive, right? I mean, any time that you can get to be in the same conversation of some of what Tiger did, it's a pretty big feat. And I think I always think it's funny too. We compare it to Tiger, and then we sort of forget how good Tiger was at his peak. And every time somebody kind of goes on a run like Scottie's doing, and the comparisons start getting made, you're like, okay, it's really not even close yet for how good he was, for how long he did it. But yeah, I mean, he's an incredible ball striker. And the fact now that he's using this mallet, and he seems to have at least found something that he can be average with. And when you hit it that good, you have to be average. You're going to be in tournaments all of the time, and weeks that you putt a little bit better, he's probably going to win, and other weeks he'll still have a chance coming down the stretch. So I think everybody has a tremendous amount of respect for what he's doing right now, and it's been fun to watch. It's very unorthodox, not something many people would teach. I'm sure his fundamentals are incredible, and if you broke that down, but watching him play, it's very unorthodox, and but he gets it done. That's the end of the day. Is whoever gets it in the least amount of shots, and he's doing that really well right now.
Well, Adam, we're wishing you nothing but good luck and success. We can't wait to see what you bring. You're going to be there. Nick Taylor will be there. Corey will be there. Mike Weir, of course, as well. So a lot of Canadians will be rooting for you as always. And good luck back at Augusta, and enjoy the game tonight. Thank you for doing this.
Of course. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate the time.
There he is, Adam Hadwin, on his way to the Coyotes game tonight.
Yeah.
Coyotes, Canucks, and the Masters. I like it. He'll be inspired by the Arizona faithful tonight before he gets to Augusta. Not a Jersey guy, too. I got an appreciation for that.
5,000 strong.
It'll be rocking. There'll be a lot of Vancouver fans down there. I guarantee you that.
You think he rocks the Canucks jersey, or he said he's not Jersey?
Not a Jersey guy.
Like he said, maybe a hat.
Sneak a hat in. Yeah.
I don't think it's not the way people act at sporting events. Do not wear anything. Don't cheer for the other team. Just enjoy it, because people are nutso out there. The stuff that's going on at ballparks.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he lives in the area too, right? Like now you're kind of a Phoenix native. I don't know. But yeah, catching a game tonight. And like you said, if you can work out and find a way to catch a playoff game, that'd be great. But it's going to be cool, man. We're almost there. But before we get to the Masters, we got to get to the Valero Texas Open. And guess what? It is go time here. Noodles, be ready. Get the pad and pen ready. Because OverDrive's PGA Picks is brought to you by TaylorMade. Experience TaylorMade speed with the forgiveness of 10K inertia with the all-new QI10 Max driver. Only from TaylorMade. Learn more at TaylorMade Golf. Okay.
I have a list.
You have a list?
I have a 6-pack, and I think you're going to be okay with it because they're guys I don't think you want.
Okay, so you're just going to knock off 6 guys, and I got to chew on it, and then I have to take whoever's left. Okay.
Yes.
Which we're not going to do next week. Like next week, we're going to have a snake.
We're going to have a snake and all kinds of different things.
Okay.
It's a 20-pack next week. I don't care.
It can't get stupid. It can't be a 20-pack. It's a 15-pack
It
tops.
gets stupid every week.
15 tops.
List.
Go ahead.
Here's my list. I've realized you got to go for like the underdog, some guys that are under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
And don't say a word until my list is complete.
Okay.
I've got Joel Damon. Dude, enough with the comments.
I didn't say anything. I did not.
You made a little side. Joel Damon. I've got Kiz. I think Kiz can pop up.
Are you
and take.
kidding me?
Dude, get
Kevin
lost.
Kisner.
Kevin Kisner.
Is he in the booth or is he playing?
He's playing,
Okay.
and I think he can have one last breath.
He'll
and
be
do
in the
some
booth
things.
by Saturday, but go ahead.
Black pants, brown belt, Brian Harmon.
Yeah.
I love Harms there. I also love the defending champ, Corey Connors.
Okay.
I like Akshay Bhatia.
Oh, I like him too.
Akshay Bhatia.
He's a stud, that kid.
And my heater pick is a guy that's gone quiet on us.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Sundin's favorite son, Ludwig Ahlberg.
Yeah.
Whoa.
There's a lot of money coming in on him to win the Masters, man. He's never played there. It's tough to do it your first time. But okay, those are your guys. Well, that leaves me with a lot of big
Dude, I
names
left
here.
you so much meat on the bone.
Okay.
So much.
I mean, how do you not take McIlroy?
No kidding. And it would be so like Rory to win the week before, just like the British. He won
Yeah.
the Scottish Open last year,
then-
right before the British.
Yeah, going to the Masters, flying, saying my game's back, I'm ready. All right, I'll take McIlroy. I'm going to take Decky. Hideki Matsuyama. I like Decky next week too at the Masters.
How do
a
you
lot.
take him ahead of Spieth in Texas?
Well, I can't. Okay, fine. I'll take Spieth too. Give me Spieth. I'll take McIlroy, Spieth, Decky, and now I'm going to go off the board here. I'm going to go Tom Kim and take Tom
Tommy
Kim.
Kim.
Yeah, I
He's
like
been
Tom
quiet.
Kim.
He's
been
been
really
quiet.
quiet. There's actually a bunch of guys who aren't playing that well right now, like really good players who I'm like at Fitzy hasn't been good. Homa's not been good. Morikawa's not been good. I'm not going to take any of them. My boy Tommy Fleetwood, not been great. I got to get back in there, play a Pro-Am with him, look at his swing, and start moving things around again.
Helping him out.
Yeah, I think so. Lucas Glover. I will take Lucas Glover with the tightest pants on tour. And you know who I'm going to take? I'm going to take my man who loves to wear a visor, Bo Hostler.
Wow.
Bo Hostler
He's
will
got-
putt his way around that course. He's exclusively wears a visor on tour.
Did you not watch him puke his guts out at that same tournament last year?
He was in contention, though. He's a
I
Texas
know.
guy. I believe he's a Texan.
I know, but he did some wild and wacky things
I'll take
coming
him.
down the stretch.
How many did I get? Did I get 6? I think I got 6. Give me Maverick McNeely, too. Quick McNeely pick. You can have one more guy.
I'll take Harry English, my man. You know Harry English
I
is going
literally
to come.
saw his name. I'm like, you're taking Harry English.
Yeah, you know Harry English is going to stand up with that ping driver and do some things one of these days.
All right. Harris English is the final pick. Very reasonable 7-pack. Okay. OverDrive PGA Picks brought to you by TaylorMade. Experience TaylorMade speed with the forgiveness of 10K inertia with the all-new QI10 Max driver only from TaylorMade. Learn more at TaylorMade Golf. I mean, that's Scottie Scheffler's a TaylorMade guy, right?
Yeah, he is. So
Scheffler's
is
playing
Rory.
TaylorMade.
So is
And
Rory.
so is McIlroy. They're both playing the mallets, too. They're both playing the spider mallet. I mean, Rory was basically the one that told Scheffler to do it.
He did?
Well, remember he did that interview. Was that at Riv? He did one of those in the booth interviews where he was watching the tournament and he was in the booth and he was there for 3 or 4 holes. And I remember him saying that. He's like, I don't know why he doesn't try a mallet. Like, get off a mallet. He should get off it. And then, a month later, Scheffler was like, all right, I guess I'll give it a shot. And the rest is history.
Well, dude, everyone should do it. We went and got fitted for the mallet up in Vaughan.
Yeah.
Call up Vaughan and go get yourself one. They're
Yeah.
so good.
They're the Spider, the Tour, like putters are unreal. Yeah. All right. There you go. Those are your picks. All right. Feeling good about my picks. I feel
Pretty good
really good
picks.
about the Masters
Kiz,
next week.
watch out for Kisner.
He is
this
in the
week.
booth, man. He's going to be
He's
outstanding.
not in the booth. He's playing.
Okay. All right. Come back and tee up Leafs Tampa. Jays Houston tonight. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2. Comments tweeting in saying you're doing a 7-pack for the Valero Open, but you shut down the idea of a 20-pack for the Masters.
No kidding, dude. The Masters is going to be a full hour segment of our picks and predictions
so?
and
Yeah.
like
I think we need picks on who's going to be the leader after the first round, who's going to miss the cut, a surprised missed cut.
Dude,
I
the
love
4
that
par
idea.
5s we talked about with Adam Hadwin, who's going to hit the longest
Yes.
drive on each one of the holes?
It's going to get ridiculous.
Yeah.
We're ready, man. We're ready, right? Greg Norman, hoodies,
You could
Monty
do a-
face.
You could
everything.
do a 20-pack, but
20
you might
pack?
bring a partner in each.
Oh, we get a little bit creative. Is that what you're
Just be
asking for,
creative,
Ninos?
you know, like
Okay.
you guys have golfing buddies. Maybe see if Tux and I don't know, like see if somebody wants to come in on these, and you guys can have a little competition internally. I think it'd be fun.
All right. I think there's a lot of options. There's a lot of things on the table,
Yeah.
and the wheels are in motion as we move towards the first major of the year.
Yeah.
All right, Leafs Lightning coming up on TSN Radio. This is a big one tonight. The Leafs can clinch a playoff spot tonight, and they can also effectively push Tampa out of the rear view in terms of them tracking them down for the third seed in the division. Feels like, if the Leafs win tonight, it feels like it's Leafs-Panthers, right? Like that's kind of what's coming. Again, the Panthers still could catch Boston, but it feels like Boston will end up with that one seed. So could be where we're leading towards, but it's going to be a fun one tonight. Leafs Lightning, and then, of course, you got the Jays playing the Astros, wrapping up their series down in Houston. So that's going to be a big one, and then they're off to New York for a series against the Yankees. It's going to be a fun week. It's going to be a really fun week.
Sounds like John Schneider was talking about Schneider and had the liner, too.
Yeah. Everything's right. The PR team be all over that. You're just going to get peppered about not having him in the lineup tonight.
What was his go-to? Just saying, this is the lineup that gives us the best chance to
early
win.
in the season.
Early in the year, everyone's
that,
getting a feel for it. You know what's coming. You know what's coming.
Yeah,
all right. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web. We appreciate that. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at...
Folks, it's raining outside. Let's keep jogging. 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.